See, I was really lucky because my dad and older brother, they were very mechanical, everything with cars and stuff and everything. So they could fix anything, and so I was right there and learned to do all this stuff. And like I say, so I got interested at early age.
Our parents knew where we were. My father gave us a cigarette when we were 16. Here, try it in front of me. Well, who the heck wants to smoke these things? So since my parents never drank and never smoked, we never drank or smoked. So that makes a big difference how you're brought up. This one won People's Choice at the first Cleveland Autorama, and that's when I bought the car. 51 years ago, or 52 years, I forget. Out of Wheeling, West Virginia, the day Reagan was shot, trailered at home, and I've never driven the car.
These 50 Fords, you used to put Lincoln Zephyr gears in there. Of course, in the day, we used to race out there, and you never took it out a second till you were ahead.
The body is mounted on an all-chrome chassis, which you'll probably never see another one. 53 Corvette, 3 side draft carburetors. That was the first Corvette motor. This was done in 1956 with the old gold metal flake paint. There's probably 60 coats of paint on this car. A 34 Chevy sedan. They made 1,700 of them with the powder trunk on the back, which is a rare sedan. It's got a 350 Chevy in it. So it's just been set. Now for me to try and get out of here would probably take me a good day.
I can remember when Frank bought a 1931 Willys, and with an Olds engine in it with hydromatic, and it smoked and stuff. And we drove all the way out to Holland Drag Strip, and he went down the strip at 75 miles an hour, and that started it. Man, then after that he built up a 32 Roadster, and then he had a 32 Coupe, boy, his prize Coupe. And I said, man, I wanted to race something. So he said, well, I'll let you run that. So we put an Olds in that. And I went down the drag strip, and the first pass I went 101 miles an hour. I never even shut it off. I drove all the way back up the line. I went 103, and that was it. I was hooked. I've been racing ever since. Especially my favorite car is a AA fueler, front engine dragster. Nothing like it. I mean, something that has that much power, I can just smoke the tires for the quarter mile. And really, I mean, and it's wild. What's really wild is like at night, with those zooming headers, you're sitting between two walls of fire. It's like going in another world. I mean, it's just something that's, not everybody gets the experience. I mean, it's really amazing.
His car would make the garage for 3 days as I would wax it and undercoat it. And my mother, when we go to the drag, she'd make our lunches, and she came to the drags until we got into dragsters. Then she quit coming. She said it's too dangerous. My father was the crew chief. He was the main guy. He was always in the push vehicle. He was with us all the time. If your parents are for what you want to do, your hobby, that makes a world of difference. If your parents are against it, then you probably won't continue.
Well, it takes, because like I say, we used to work all night. And when we started on a project, we just work and work day after day until we got it done, And, it's just, but that's what it takes, hours and hours, But there's something that's just a challenge and something you want to do, and man, we just worked at it, and
Well, plus, we would even help our competitors. There was a guy who watched us for 1 month, never talked to us. He'd come over, I'm going to come out with a AA fuel dragster next week. What percentage of nitro should I run? I said between 30 and 35%. Next week, he's on the line. He blew the motor right on the line. He come back over and he said, you know what? I should have listened to you guys. Everybody else told me 90 to 95%. I said, yeah, who do you think told you that? Your competitors. Now they don't have to worry about you anymore.
We've really been blessed. Frank and I have talked about it. We were really blessed to grow up when we did. Because if we let's say at high school age now, you have to have several $1 million to run a AA fuel dragster.
Right.
But back then it was really expensive. But somehow, some way we did it. Of course we worked hard, and little by little we worked our way up and raced. We built race car after car, faster and faster and faster. And then until we finally, in 1966 we set the record at Thompson over 210 miles an hour, and which was really made us feel good, and so. Something. Well, we got our AA fuel dragster hanging from the ceiling that we want to put back together one of these days. We'd sold it, and a friend hit the lights at Thompson, tore the front end off. So now we got to put a new front end on it. and get it back together. So that's one of the projects on the list.
Well, we used to see the new cars in the showroom until finally they're just the same. Old cars spark the interest in street rodders and camaraderie with all the other guys with cars, join car clubs and this sort of thing. We belong to Early Times Custom Car Club, which has been in existence for 50 years. And you get to meet people when you go to these cruise-ins.
We have something here that is a 4T. You have a little bit of everything. 1915 Ford. You got a little bit more motor in it than what it came out of the factory, don't you think?
A little more than you really need, but it's nice to have it. It's a real showpiece. It attracts a lot of attention when you do take it to a show. And it is a little loud when you do fire it up. It's got a quick change rear end, 40 pounds of peanuts in the back. There's an original peanut roaster back there. And it's been a feature car at the IX, Canton car shows, various other shows. I know driving on the street, it'd be kind of impractical. I'd probably lose all the peanuts. My favorite car is my black 32 Ford Roadster. Chevy powered, built in Hawaii in 1956. 99% of the parts on that car are from 1956. I drove it for 14 years with the Street Rod Nationals. It's just my favorite. And the reason why I got started with 32s, they have more room in them than Model A's, which is a lot more comfortable when you're going on trip. I drove my Roadster to Tulsa, Oklahoma, 19-hour trip. So you want to be comfortable, not just cramped up. There was an ad in the Plain Dealer, and I went over and we looked at it. The guy had 2x4s laying on it, and the interior was filthy. I said, I don't even want it. But then we went back the next week and bought it. Took 3 days to clean the interior. Look how nice it turned out. I mean, this is the original paint from 1956, the old Ditzler Double D Black. 301 Chevy with a 39 trans and a 32 Ford rear end with a rumble seat. I drove this one for 14 years all over Tulsa, Oklahoma, every place.
We had to make, we had to make so much of this stuff. I mean, all kinds of special stuff, you know, and that was really an accomplishment. I mean, really, you know. And like Frank here, that guy, he can make anything, you know, I don't care. We figure out stuff, and I learned too. I learned from him. My dad was the same way. Man, he loved anything with a motor. I mean, he just thought that was great, you know. This used to be a friend of ours' welding shop many years ago, and when he retired, we bought it, and then we added that building. Then something ran out of room, and then we built this building, ran out of room, and then we ran out of room, and then we bought the firehouse across the street. Still no room.
Sounds like a true car idiot. And what are you doing in this one? This was a machine shop.
This was a machine shop. Now it's my workshop. When I used to work on stump grinders, I ground stumps for 42 years, and this is where I do most of the repairs. I've only been retired for about a year. I need more time to clean this mess up, car parts and all that stuff. You never have enough parts. All these boxes are filled full of car parts over the years. In that 96 Buick, about a year ago, somebody rear-ended me and totaled the car. So all these under the weeds, these are all good parts. They're spare parts, backup parts. All these boxes are full of parts. You can never have enough parts. That trailer there, I haven't been in there over 25 years. I even forget what's in there. One of these days we're going to get into that one. But when you have cars, you never have enough parts.
Absolutely, and the leaves really, they kind of blanket, they're like umbrellas that keep everything away, and they're pristine when you look and take them out.
That's the idea, hiding stuff from the airplanes. People think I'm an idiot to have all these license plates. I used to go to Euclid, Ohio, and buy these license plates. I'd give them a whole list with my initials and the years of the car, pay for them. They'd call me when they were ready, and I'd pick them up. I did it from 69 to 73. If I put a car in a car show like my 23T Touring, it says FF 1923.
And the thing is, we had to race, years ago, we raced 3-4 times a week. You had to race. I don't care what, you know. One day a drill press went into my hand, broke my knuckles are still all messed up. It wrapped around, busted my hand off. I went out there to race the next day. I had all wrapped up and everything. And I had in a sling. Well, I took it out of the sling when I went down the strip. And boy, that thing was hurting. I could hardly hang on to the wheel, but I drove. I mean, you couldn't miss the races, boy. And so many times we'd work all night long, you know, till we time to go. And you know, I mean, it's just amazing. Just really, really enjoyed it. You know, this unbelievable experience.
A friendly persuader. And this one here was on the cover of the 1960 Custom Hot Rod magazine, right?
Yeah, and it's Olds powered, and it's got a quick change rear end. And we used to take and switch the gears in it, and you know, boy, I had more fun. You could do big burnouts with it and change the ratios. If you want to go on the freeway, you could go real fast, and we had more fun. Put all kinds of miles on it. With 2 screws, you can take the top off and go cruising. You know, it's really a fun car.
And it's not, and when I mean original, it hasn't been rebuilt or anything. I mean, it was built in the day, and it stayed the same, right?
Stayed the same, right. You don't find cars like this around anymore. Too many of them got ruined, you know. They weren't kept right, and that was a problem with a lot of them.
Our dad always said when we was young kids, he sat us down and said, listen, if you boys want to make it in this world, you can work for somebody, but if you work for yourself, you can make all the money you want. And he says, and as far as saving money, don't save hard-earned money. Invest it in things. Well, at one point when he turned 91, took him down to the other building across the street there, and he looked around, and I said, what do you think, Chief? Everybody called him the Chief. What do you think? He said, I said, you remember what you told us? And he said, I'm surprised you guys listened. And he laughed, you know. But our folks were very positive people. I don't care how bad things were, they'd always find some good in it, you know. We was out at Thompson one time. They had a gasser meeting. We was in the Legends tent. They had these posters. We signed their name autographs on these posters. Our dragster was there. Some young fella come up, he was real timid stuff. I started talking to him, and he started talking a little bit. I said, I'm going to tell you something. Follow your dreams. I said, my dream when I was young, I wanted to drive a AA fuel dragster. Seemed like the most, well, the farthest thing that could ever happen, you know, in the world. I mean, it just seemed impossible. But you know, if you follow your dreams, somehow, some way, your dreams can come true. And you can. My dreams come true. Whoever thought I'd be able to drive a AA fuel dragster, you know? And man, what an exciting thing.